This is Idiots with Opinions. Idiots may vary.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Idiots with Opinions. I'm Tuscan.
And I'm Todd.
And we're here today to bring you some stories talking about a little bit of Halloween, maybe. I know Todd's got some scary stuff on deck for y'all.
Spooky special episode.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
The Todd and Tuscan's Halloween special.
Before we get started, though, Todd, I got a bone to pick. Not with you, but with the internet and just like internet trends in general. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, I don't know how you feel about this, but every once in a while I will skim past the trending page on YouTube, kind of see what's going on, what are people talking about, what's at the top of the news, right?
Yeah.
And it's never, I don't look to the trending page for something to watch. I almost never, in fact, watch anything on the trending page. It's just not my cup of tea. As you well know, I'm just not a guy for what the popular thing is. It's not. It's almost never what I'm into. What becomes popular. So, I've been noticing recently, and it's probably been this way for a long time, but I've been noticing recently that when I go to the trending page on YouTube, it's almost always the top spot is one of those like cheap versus expensive things from BuzzFeed. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the $180 shrimp versus $3 shrimp, and like, what's the difference? And it's like, I get that, but here's the thing. Here's the bone I have to pick with BuzzFeed. I think BuzzFeed is the root of all of the internet's problems. Maybe not the root of all of the internet's problems, but they have identified in advance what people will want to watch and like just inject people with the most clickbaity stuff, the most this is not quality content. You're not learning anything.
They're the king of clickbait. They really are.
Oh my god, it's like, and the faces of those guys in the thumbnail are just like, what? No way. And then you watch the video and they're like, yeah, this is pretty good stuff. I can't see paying $180 for it, but you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah.
Oh my god. And those guys are so over the top about it. I'm like, I know it doesn't taste as good as you are making it.
Yeah, BuzzFeed is only good for their quizzes, and even then, it's kind of like, they're stupid.
Yeah, because you get to the end and you're like, why? What's the reasoning for that?
Here's my biggest bone to pick with BuzzFeed is I was talking with somebody earlier this week, actually, and they were talking about where they get their news from, and they legitimately said that they would trust BuzzFeed over certain sources, and I was like, you have to
You're
not.
Absolutely kidding.
You cannot make BuzzFeed one of your trusted sources.
Vid. Oh my god. You can't just like go to these places and expect it to be legitimate sources. I mean, for whatever you're looking for, right? But definitely not for, political news or an actual opinion. I don't know. I feel like they're way too clickbaity for real news.
Yeah. BuzzFeed, not great for news. But you know what is great for news?
Idiots with Opinions?
You're 100% correct, my friend.
Except that time I found like the Onion articles and I thought they were real articles and I almost presented them. So I looked up the publication and found out it was not real.
But you did that on the show, right?
No.
So we had to do a retraction.
Yeah. No. We didn't have to do a retraction because we had sat down, you and me, to start recording.
Oh, so we hadn't recorded it. Yes. Cool.
I was like, these are so outrageous. And you were like, are you sure they're real? And I was like, I don't know. Let me check that out real quick. And I did like a quick search of the publication. Turns out it's a parody source.
Okay, yeah, but that happens all the time with real news sources. I mean, people, at least we caught it. I'm pretty good. I think both of us have reported correct true stories.
I believe in my heart
point.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know what I ran into last night? I looked it up for the first time in years. Do you remember there was like a Pan-Asian Airlines flight, or I don't even know if that's a real Asian airline, but it was some Asian airline that like had a crash landing on a runway at like LAX or something, right?
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah. And do you remember the newscaster who was given the fake names?
The fake names, yes.
Mm-hmm. What was it? It was like Captain
Tulo,
Something Wong.
Fook.
Something
Or
Wong.
Holy Fook.
Holy
yes, Something
Fook,
Wong.
yeah.
We Too
Bang
Low.
Ding Ow.
Yes, that was it.
It was
yes,
it was bad.
It was racist and
it was both racist and wrong. Which is just not what you want to be as a news source.
Yes, correct. Yeah, I remember that.
Speaking of which, topical. You hear about Megyn Kelly?
I have not been paying attention to mainstream news for a while, but I did see that Megyn Kelly was in the news. I don't know what for.
Well, she has left NBC. She's no longer with them.
All right.
This is a today development. I don't really want to talk about it because it's super controversial, but, you know, big stuff.
Whatever. I think I have not been paying attention to mainstream news for the past like 2 weeks because I've been so busy, and I know you have as well.
I've been busy, that's for sure.
Yes, man. I've not had very, very much time at all for other things, but it's slowing down for a little bit. It's gonna pipe back up in a few weeks, and then then we're gonna be smooth sailing for the rest of the semester. From my perspective,
mine's gonna be a steady ramp up until finals.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm running into a lot of stuff where it's like I didn't realize I had to actually buy that book for this class. So, and the book report's due in 2 weeks. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So, remains to be seen what'll happen. Todd, let me talk to you about a terrible mistake. This is not a Halloween-themed story, nor should it be.
But is it spooky?
I'd be spooked if I saw it.
All right.
I'd be pretty shook.
I'm listening.
This story comes out of a town outside of London. It's called Uxbridge in West London. That
sounds like the most London name of an area. Yes.
He's from Uxbridge. And the Uxbridge Magistrate Court heard his case, and this is actually kind of an old article. It's from Vice. That this guy was outside in this farm, and he was caught by the owner of said farm with his hand. I don't know how to put this in a family-friendly manner. His hand was deep inside of a cow, and his other hand was upon a lower half portion of his anatomy, and he was pleasuring himself while just knee-deep into a cow.
That's what I call multitasking.
Yeah, that's what the magistrate court called. Let me find they called it a crime. That's for sure. I can't. Oh, it was outraging public decency. Yeah, and he was banned from.
Yeah, that's one word for it.
He was banned from every farm in Britain. Every farm in Britain.
He can go to the city, but he's banned from the farms.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
It's like, sir, you cannot be around livestock anymore. You've lost that privilege. This guy, by the way, what are you picturing when you see this guy?
Kind of like a long, scraggly hair, a thin yet long mustache, and without connecting like a goatee, maybe like a chin strap along the same lines of a scraggly hair. Also a little bit overweight, but not too much, enough that he can fit his whole arm in a cow.
Yeah,
you know?
This is a skinny, clean-shaven, short-cropped hair, very British-looking 80-year-old man. And this is apparently what he does for fun on the weekends.
Oh, so he's done it more than once.
Yeah, well, I can only assume. I mean, you don't just start there, right?
That'd be some bad luck.
I mean, what has to go through your head that you're like, all right, I think I'll pick up and go to the farm today? You know, just like what?
Get myself in some cows.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not getting much around this old home. I'm 8 years old. Nothing to lose. Might as well just pick up. Take yourself to a farm.
Pick up some cows.
Yeah.
He probably like told an old bloke of his, be like, I'm gonna go pick up some cows, and he's like, dude, that's so rude. Don't say stuff like that. And then he found out he's like, he was actually talking about. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this dude's got issues, man.
Yeah, that's worse.
He, let's see. He said he visited a church near the farm once a week, merely because he, quote, liked the view. And so you could just picture this guy sitting in church and staring like longingly out the church window at the cows. I mean, it's just such a strange person that does something like this.
Oh, man. I read recently there was an article from Florida. This is not a story that I'm covering. But there was... This is an old article from Florida, but it's become infamous. That there was some bill that... some legislation in Florida that banned bestiality, but oral with other animals was still allowed.
Yeah, I heard that.
In Florida.
I remember that law somewhere. I can't remember. It might be one of the stories I came across looking for stuff like this.
I would explain our show as semi-family friendly, but really just there's stuff like this. Yeah. I mean,
listen.
This is the weird news. This is what you signed up for, folks.
He also just to cap this all off, he has pledged that he is going to sue the police over over like claiming that he was pleasuring himself, claiming that he hasn't done so in 3 years because of the medication he's on. And so that leads me to believe.
Oh, so he's saying that the medication helped him from not doing this?
No,
or
I think it just prevented him from doing it, right? Like, if he did it, he might have a stroke or something. I'm not... This is not stated in the article, but that's my interpretation of kind of what he's saying.
Strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well.
Everything about this is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that'd be pretty spooky for...
It'd be a spooky sight to behold.
Imagine catching that person.
I don't want to. Like, catch you in the act.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've seen a picture of this guy and a picture of a cow next to, like, the picture. It's like a split screen thing. It's just a very sad-looking cow. And then, like, this guy looking kind of forlorn coming out of the court. Mm-hmm. And so I can picture it very clearly, unfortunately.
Oh, man. What a weird old man. You know what else? There's another weird old man that I'd like to talk to you about, Tuscan.
Let's hear all about it.
This weird old man originally was going to be my second story, but I think this segues better. So this man was making a ruckus, and so people came to his house. They responded to his home after getting a call saying that a man had been attacked with an axe. And this man claimed that somebody had stabbed him in the head with a bladed weapon. And the deputies arrived, and they found that caller. His name was Michael L. Ottenberry, and they could hear him through the door and see him at his front door cursing at people who were obviously not there, quote.
Okay, so he's a crazy person.
Yes, and so they placed him on handcuffs, and then they looked through his house, and they found a bag of meth in plain view on a nightstand.
Well, that's where you keep it.
And on him. And his defense was that a ghost planted it on him.
Oh.
Yes.
Supernatural.
He said that a ghost planted the meth on him. Uh-huh. You know?
We've all been there. Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah, the ghostly meth. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Man, yeah, when a ghost plants meth on you, you gotta figure out how to divert. You gotta get rid of that meth. You gotta plant it on somebody else.
Well, I mean, clearly that's who he was yelling at. He was trying to get the ghost to come back for his meth.
Exactly. Yeah. And they looked all around, couldn't find any ghosts. So.
Well, that's kind of the thing about ghosts. You don't usually find them; they find you.
Yeah.
You know.
This is true.
This guy might be innocent. Honestly, I tend to believe his story. You think it might be a meth trip?
He said that there somebody had been like stabbed him with an axe, stabbed him in the head with a bladed weapon, and he had been attacked with an axe. There was no sign of any injury on his head or anywhere on his body that was from a bladed weapon.
Yeah, it just sounds like a decent meth trip. You know, I was gonna say we've all been there, but I haven't tried meth. Have you tried meth?
No, not that I can remember.
I actually met
who
a
would
guy.
know?
I met a guy whose name I obviously won't reveal. He was a crazy person. I met him in a cigar bar a few weeks ago, and he was like, "My goal is to try one new drug every month." And I was like, "Your goal is to die quickly." And this guy was like, "Yeah, so I went, I tried meth one time, and, you know, me and the guy I was with were like, yeah, and? Like, what? You can't just, like, drop that." He's like, "Well," he's like, I was very depressed for, like, 2 weeks after I tried it. You know, I came down, and then I was very depressed for, like, 2 weeks." And we're like, "Yeah?" And he's like, "After that, I was severely depressed for the next 6 months." I was like, "Holy shoot, man, that's crazy. This is so terrible." He's like, "Yeah, I'm never doing meth again. That was some crazy stuff. I've never been that depressed in my life. That was like my entire 2017.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, and definitely don't do meth. Listen.
I'm pretty sure I talked about it on our very, very first episode, but that's like what I think people should, like, show the kids, because they're always like, "Oh, drugs are the worst," but then they don't actually have, like, people like that man to back it up. Or even meth, like, I'm sure it was a great experience while he had taken it, but
sure,
that's not what we focus on when we educate the youth.
Well, and you know, another thing is they always show, like, the meth head who's been doing it for 3 years and now he's got no teeth, and, like, his gums are receded into the deep bowels of his head. But, you know, and that is what a meth head that's been, you know, a tweaker looks like after that many years. But, you know, you don't see the guy who tried it once and then just had a terrible time for just so long. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a really sad story to me. You know, he's like, this might be a good time, it might be fun, it'll be harmless, whatever. And then, you know, next thing you know, you're months later and you're still feeling the effects. And that's crazy to me. Speaking of the children, Todd, I've got another story coming out of the UK. It's a very UK heavy story load today. This one comes just from a couple days ago, where a 17-year-old boy at a grammar school in the UK, Spalding Grammar School to be specific, decided to protest some new regulations they had going on at the school. And they decided, and this school's been doing this for a while with some of the other grades, right, from 7th to 11th grade. And they say, like, year 7 to year 11. And when they say 6th graders, they say 6th formers, which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get the form.
They have a strange, because, like, high school is college to them.
Right, and then college is university.
Yeah, or uni.
Yeah, I'm almost always uni. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Continue.
They've been doing this for years. With years 7 to 11, they would ban the book bags, right? Because they believe they have all the kids were getting overloaded with too many books, and they were getting, like, weighed down. And so this kid decided that he wasn't going to take it, right? They just brought this to the 6th formers.
Oh, I think I did read. I read the headline on this.
Yeah, he decided he's not going to take it anymore, and he starts bringing his books to school in a microwave.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a microwave.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is, I mean, there's a great picture of it. I think it's fantastic. And, you know, I mean, you knew me in high school. I would have done the exact same thing.
Oh,
I would have come up with some crazy stuff to protest whatever the administration decided it was going to pull on me.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah, so it was just, and then he's also got, like, there's a picture of him with a wicker basket with all his books in there. He's just, like, he's using the absurd to make a point about how absurd the law is, or how absurd the rule is. And, it's different than in the United States where they're like, okay, you all have to wear clear backpacks because we're afraid somebody's got, like, a gun or a bomb or, whatever they've got. It's not paranoia. They're just like, oh, your little shoulders are getting tired. Why don't we take the backpack off you? And it's not that they're like, you don't have to wear a backpack. They've disallowed it, which just seems dumb.
Yeah, that's
right.
Ridiculous.
Am I the stupid one? Are all these people smarter than me and I just don't see the point?
Probably. That's why we're idiots with opinions.
I must be the stupid one because this just seems so ridiculously absurd to me that I would never even dream of saying, no, you can't have a backpack because you're getting too tired. I've made the decision for you, for your own good, because you are going to be feeling a certain way if you don't do it like I want you to do it.
I think also, like, I don't know, if their reasoning is that, these kids are too tired from lugging around their backpacks, I mean, that makes them stronger, right?
Yeah. I mean, you'd think so, right? They're also British.
That's like not something super hard, but life is a struggle. And
I thought life was a highway.
No.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Life is not a highway.
Don't
try to ride it all night long.
Yeah.
You will fail.
You will fail. You'll fall asleep at the wheel and crash.
Life is a highway. I'm a little drunk.
So our next story is it also is about the children. It's about some middle school girls. So it's a
I didn't mean
little
to make
darker.
that sound. You should edit that out.
What?
You said middle school girls, and I was like,
I think it was just like you being in agreement, like, yes, of course, middle school girls, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
What I'll
and
say
if
is I was taking
says,
a sip of a delicious adult beverage here on the sidelines.
Yes, I see. Okay. So, so these middle school girls, they are from Florida. Surprise. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be wild. They brought knives to school.
Oh, come on.
And their plot was to kill their classmates and cut them up and drink their blood.
Well, listen, I warned them about the vampire middle school girls. They didn't listen to me. They didn't. I mean, down in Florida, they've got vampires, and you would think. I mean, it's they got to
start somewhere,
state, right?
Yeah.
The last place you would expect to find a vampire, the Sunshine State.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, bring it. What the hell is this? Is this like?
So no, and also it gets even worse. Like they had this whole plan. Like they were staying in a bathroom and they were gonna wait for smaller students to enter, and then they would kill them and drink their blood.
How did they get caught?
I think they got caught right away. They Yeah, no one was hurt. I mean,
well, thankfully. I mean, once a middle school girl
they
puts
just
their mind to
saw
something,
these middle school girls with 2 knives. I want to know how they found out, like, their whole idea.
Yeah.
Oh, and they also, it's a pretty dark story. There's more to it, and I would say if you are interested in this story, there's just a little bit more to it. So you might want to look it up on your own time. But it's pretty sad, messed up, a little spooky. And what I would say is children should stop killing each other, and people should stop doing meth, and they should have a little Halloween candy instead this week.
Solid.
Because it's a Halloween week, it's a holiday week. And
speaking of Halloween, Todd, I've got a party I need to go to on Wednesday night on October 31st.
Mr. Popular.
Oh yeah, it's super popular these days. And I need to know what to wear. I do not yet have a costume picked out, and I'm looking for something. So I was wondering if you got any like creative inspiration for me, because listen,
you want something easy? What's always easy is in a classic. Remember, you watched The Office, right?
Yeah.
So just get a white shirt.
Oh, and then gym.
Yeah, do the gym.
Yeah.
As a 3-hole punched paper. That's easy.
Yeah, that one was pretty funny. But it's kind of dated. Like making that reference, will be like, oh, he's just watching The Office on Netflix now, and he like is experiencing that for the first time. That's why he thinks it's funny. It is a classic, though. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, that's an easy one. I was thinking about it myself because I myself do not like to spend a lot of time and energy into coming up with a costume.
But you want to be good, right? You want to be memorable.
Yeah, you either want to be good or you want to not really care because it's just one day out of the year. And
yeah, like I'm not looking to spend a fortune, but I want to. I want people to talk about and maybe even laugh at my costume.
Yeah, we had for the viewers at home, Tuscan and I did a couple's costume when we were in high school. That was, if you've ever seen the Showtime show Dexter. It was a show about a serial killer who kills other serial killers. And Tuscan went as Dexter, and I went as a victim. And I wore only Saran wrap. I was just wrapped up in Saran wrap, and we went to a party like that.
I just looked like. Here's the thing: your costume was great. We spent a long time. We bought like 2 rolls of Saran wrap and put them all the way around you.
Yeah, that's cheap enough, and that's like
fine.
And
it was good.
I think that was a good.
But
I think that was a good costume.
I kind of just looked like a homeless person when you weren't around. Like that was the problem with that costume, and that's the problem with a lot of couples costumes. You're kind of, what's the word for it? You're very misunderstood if your couple is not there. Right.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think a couple's costume that you were involved with that worked really well was your Joker and Harley Quinn costume.
That'll go down in the annals of history.
Yes.
That was like.
That's always a go-to. That's easy. If you have a couple costume that you want to have, Joker and Harley Quinn, easy. It is pretty mainstream, but hey, it's easy.
And the one I did, I mean, right after Suicide Squad came out, it was good. It was topical. And I mean, a lot of other people were doing it, but I think I did it the best out of anybody I saw that
pretty
night.
Great. Mm-hmm.
I saw some better ones online, but
too bad it was a Suicide Squad reference. Suicide Squad is definitely not a sponsor because I think it's maybe the worst movie ever made.
That movie sucked.
Yes.
I mean, Todd and I almost walked out of that movie. We were together.
We did. Yeah. We did not stay for the after credits scene, and
I never
we went back. I like the after credit scenes. I mean, I like sitting through the credits. I know you don't, but I like sitting through the credits.
That's the other
because
bone I
think
had
that's
to
like
pick.
Respect
is with the after credits scene.
To the movie.
The first Avengers movie, and actually the first Iron Man did it really well. Right when Sam Jackson was waiting in Tony Stark's house, and he's like, "I want to talk to you about the Avengers," and then the first Avengers did it really well too. Because they showed Thanos in that scene.
Yeah.
And then they cut to black, and they did some more credits, and then they were like all in the shawarma restaurant or whatever.
They do 2 after credit scenes in Marvel movies.
Yeah.
All the time.
So Marvel did it, and then everybody kind of piggybacked on it, and now people stay to watch the entire credits scene. Just because they think there will be a thing at the end. And they're very disappointed when there isn't.
Do you remember when we stayed for 22 Jump Street and you laughed really, really hard at the after credits scene there?
I can't remember that, no.
I remember you laughing very loudly. Again,
I mean, I laughed a lot.
That was one of the movies that you laughed so loud in a
I was in good spirits
theater.
that night. But it was like... I remember they did a thing during the credits that was like 23 Jump Street, 24 Jump Street, and it was like
that was good.
All that one was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember what the after credits scene was for that.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
Oh, I also wanted to tell you. So I read these other 2 articles online. And they're really short, but there was this guy who, I think you'll really appreciate this, built a costume for his 2,000-pound horse, which was an AT-AT from Star Wars.
Oh, that'd be good.
And it looks pretty good. I feel bad for the horse, but
No, I think that'd be good. And then, like, you can be Darth Vader riding that.
Yeah.
That would be even better. I mean,
it was really funny.
If he's a horse.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. And then also, I'm sure you've seen this, but have you seen, like, America's favorite Halloween candy, the picture that's circulating the internet right now?
No.
Okay, well, it just takes each state and it has the pictures of what's seen, I think, by how many, or what's the most bought candy is in that state is. And yeah, there's too many. There are 7 states. There are too many states that think that candy corn is the best candy.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Candy corn?
Yeah,
Listen,
and I wanna point out
it's not Nebraska, is it?
No.
Okay.
But it is Iowa.
Well, you know what? Iowans, that sounds about right.
Because Iowa's the
Iowa,
worst.
you know what you did. You know who you are. Candy corn people.
Yeah. Nebraska's isn't great, but that's okay.
What is it?
Nebraska's is saltwater taffy.
Oh, I like a saltwater taffy.
Yeah,
although
it's just kind of random. Like, I never see that.
Teeth, so I got to be careful eating that.
Yeah, so I would say on this Halloween, go out, don't have candy corn, don't have meth. Don't stab your students, your fellow classmates.
And if you're going to bring books with you, put them in a backpack like a civilized person, not a microwave.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know who is a very civilized person, Tuscan?
I don't, Todd.
His name's Carl Westbert. He always pays his taxes. He always, votes.
Shows up for jury duty when he has to.
Yeah.
Summoned.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been drafted by the war, but if he was, he would go right away. He would go with a smile on his face.
I thought they made that movie Rambo about him.
Oh, that is right.
I mean, they changed a few names and stuff, but I'm pretty sure that was him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Rambo
he's
2
done
was
his
fake,
service.
but yeah,
he's been wronged by this country, and he's done his service anyway.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Carl H. Westberg.
And
remember the name.
And he's a sponsor of this podcast. He set us up with everything we've got, including all of our social media accounts. If you want to check us out on Twitter, we are Idiotic Opinion. No, we are at Opinions That Suck. SUK.
Correct.
SUK. If we're on Instagram, that's where you're going to find at Idiotic Opinions. And if you want to shoot us an email, maybe a weird news story in your hometown or something else that you got going on, why don't you just shoot us an email over at studios.volatile@gmail.com. That's where we're living. That's the email I'm checking.
Just checking. Is it studios.volatile or is it just studios volatile?
It is studios volatile. Did I say dot?
Okay. Yes, you did.
Screw the dot. studiosvolatile@gmail.com.
That's correct.
Remember the name.
Remember the name. And we hope you have a very merry Halloween. From your best pals, Tuscan and Todd. Join us next week when I eat Tuscan's heart.
You've been listening to Idiots with Opinions. Tune in next week